What is up? What is up, people? This is Abraham Walker with Ask A Walker, your Northern Virginia real estate agent, and we're back at you with another video. So this is another conversation I've been having with some of my clients. I think that it may resonate with some of you because a large percentage of our clients who are coming from the YouTube channel are relocating into the area. We do have a good portion of you that are first time home buyers, but I would say the lion's share of you, of our viewers, are moving here from other parts of the world, right? So you're moving here from Texas, California. We've had several people who are moving here from overseas, and you're coming to the Northern Virginia area, specifically Northern Virginia area, but really you're coming to the DC metro area. So usually when you're coming to the DC metro area, you're kind of getting a promotion, right? Even for our military clients who are moving to one of the local military bases here, you get the largest BAH payout, right, for your housing allowance that's offered throughout the country, right? So it's in the top tier. So you're making a little bit more money as far as your housing is concerned for our military clients. Then we have our clients who are relocating here maybe because of a job promotion, right? We have several Fortune 500 companies or several Fortune 500 headquarters located in the Northern Virginia area. So now you've been doing a great job wherever you are currently located, and you got the call up to come relocate to Northern Virginia, right? You're super excited because now you're going to be making more money than you're making in your current location. The new job also has some other opportunities for you to move up inside the company. So you're super excited about the transition. And then you start looking at houses, right? Then you start looking at what you could afford when you move to the Northern Virginia area. And, this part of the conversation happens all too often where we have individuals who start to more or less second guess their decision to move up here because housing is so expensive. I would add that I would suggest that you watch the video that I shot a couple of days ago about the crime in Northern Virginia, because too often when individuals are moving to the Northern Virginia area, they know it's a large metro area, or it's a part of a large metropolitan area, right? So a lot of people know about DC proper. They've probably heard about DC as far as a lot of the attractions, the tourist attractions. They've heard about the politicians, the politics. They've heard about sometimes the crime that goes on in DC. So then they attribute that conversation, those attributes, to Northern Virginia. And unfortunately, Northern Virginia isn't that exciting. It's not that exciting. Sorry to tell you. So you don't have some of those um, negatives that come with living in a large city, but you also don't have some of those positives as far as having being in like a tourist location in your hometown, right? Or a hometown. You're really, the Northern Virginia area is really more of a suburb. And so once you've wrapped your head around the idea that you're not moving to DC, you're not moving to Maryland, and you're coming to Northern Virginia, now you start to look at the prices of properties and where you're from, right? Wherever you're moving here from, you're used to houses that cost a lot of money being located in good or great neighborhoods. And that makes sense. That makes sense. Usually the cost of houses is a deterrent to a lot of the challenges that come with living in a more diverse socioeconomic location, right? Where you have individuals with varying degrees of income or varying levels of income. Well, in Northern Virginia, we do not have those same types of neighborhood structures. So, so you look online, right? You do a little research, maybe you know somebody that lives in the area, and then they start to tell you about their neighborhoods. They start to tell you about their section of Northern Virginia, or they start to tell you about areas in Northern Virginia that they heard of. Well, one of the areas that you've most likely come across in your research when you're thinking about moving to Northern Virginia is Arlington, right? Arlington, specifically North Arlington. And why is that? Why is North Arlington coming up on the radar, or it's a place that's more popular as far as that's researched, right? That comes up in your research, right? So North Arlington has a lot to offer. In addition to it being relatively close to DC, it's a hop, skip, and a jump to the DC area. DC proper, it's super close to a lot of the Fortune 500 headquarters that are located here are going to be located around the Arlington area. Some of them are located in Arlington. Amazon HQ2 is located in Arlington. Capital One headquarters is located just 10 to 15 minutes outside of Arlington. So there's a lot to go. There's a lot going on in Arlington. But when you start to look in the Arlington area, you'll notice that they do have some really great schools, highly rated schools that are in the northern part of the Arlington area. Well, you may start to think to yourself, I want to live in Arlington, right? But then you start to look at the prices, and the prices of the properties in Arlington are much higher than any other part of the Northern Virginia region. Let me just read off to you in August, for August sales numbers. What exactly Arlington, how Arlington compared to the rest of the region, right? So as far as the average sales price goes, Arlington came in at the highest sales price, average sales price at $777,000, followed closely by Loudoun County at 730, and then Fairfax County at 722, and then City of Alexandria at 647. So as you can see, Arlington is going to be the most expensive part of the area. It's going to have some of the highest rated schools in the area. It's going to have some of the most bikeable parts of the region in the area. It's going to be the most bike friendly, walk friendly place in the area. But you will start to have to make some concessions when it comes to your budget, right? When it comes to your budget, like, and remember when we started talking this, having this conversation at the beginning, you moved up here, or you're moving up here because you're getting a raise, you're getting a promotion. So the common things come up when you're getting a raise. You start to think about moving into a better location. You start to think about having different opportunities or having access to different parts of the region. But when you come to Northern Virginia, that's not the case. So even for us, we live in the Kingstowne area in Northern Virginia. The average sales price could range. It depends on what type of property you're looking at, but you could find a townhouse here in the high fives, right? You can go into the high sixes, low sevens to get a 2-car garage townhouse. But you're still looking at almost $1 million to buy yourself a single family home. Unless you get a smaller single family home, you can get something between the 7s and the 9s. But still, right? You're still looking at over $500,000 for a home, and we're like 25 minutes away from Arlington. So that means that as you get closer or move closer to the northern part of the county, northern part of Northern Virginia, things just become more expensive, especially northeastern part of Northern Virginia as you get closer to the DC border. So why am I doing this video? Because you probably have already come to terms with the cost of living here. You've probably already come to terms with the fact that you're not going to be able to, or you may not be able to live um, near the top rated schools. Top rated schools in Northern Virginia come with a bit of a sticker shock for most of the region. Now there are some one-offs, like West Springfield. West Springfield has some really highly rated schools as far as elementary school and the high school, but that's really a one-off scenario. Most of the top-rated schools, you'll notice, your research will show that it's going to be in North Arlington, in the McLean area, some parts of Tyson's. And up there, it's going to be a little bit pricey. So now you're starting to make this decision that a lot of our clients make, or a lot of our clients come to terms with, which is, okay, great. I want to put my kids in a great location or a great school, or I myself want to be in a location where I don't have to own a car, but I still want a certain amount of space. I'm here to tell you that, or I'm here to encourage you to 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 not use your same um, way of thinking about a city, thinking about a location that's prevalent throughout most major cities in America. Northern Virginia is a, a very large suburb. I'm talking about um, from the Potomac. So I'm talking about the Arlington, Falls Church, Fairfax County, Loudoun County, all the way to Prince William County. All of these regions, all of these areas are not really cities, in a sense that in a city you have different income brackets, you have different housing types, you have different things to concern yourself about. For some strange reason, and I'm still doing my research on this too, like why is Northern Virginia special like this? You have a lot to choose from. So hopefully this video gives you some comfort when you're moving to the area, when you're making that decision between a smaller property and a smaller property in a closer location, or closer to highly rated public schools or public transportation. Or if you're thinking about moving a little bit further out, right? You're thinking about moving a little bit further out where you can get a little bit more space. The school ratings may drop just a little bit. Your commute may increase just a little bit. The size of your property increases just a little bit. I just want you to know that it's not as big of a transition from one location to the other in Northern Virginia. All right. We've been living here for almost 10 years now, and we moved here from New Orleans. In New Orleans, I would say that the New Orleans schools were rated like a 17, the low teens, high 20s, right? Depending on if you went to like a charter school or a magnet school. And now moving to Northern Virginia, I would say that most of the schools are really rated in that mid 80s and above, right? So even for us at our kids go to Hayfield Secondary School, so they're in that Hayfield pyramid. They went to Lane Elementary School. We live in Kingstowne. I would say that our school is like an 85, 87, if you want to put it on a 100 scale, right? Now, could we move to Arlington? Could we move to North Arlington specifically? Could we move to McLean? Yes, we could. But if we did move there, we'd most likely be living in a condo. Right now, we live in a townhouse, so we would have to live in a condo. So a smaller space, or even if we did get into a townhouse, it would be a smaller, older townhouse. But our schools, at least for our family, we would be really going from an 85 to like a 93, 95. And in my opinion, it's just not worth those few more percentage points when you're making the decision to move here. So I hope that this video helps you to at least start to wrap your head around the fact that this video paired with the crime video that I did a couple days ago, right? If you watch those two videos together, you'll see that Northern Virginia is a little unique in the sense that we don't have the variety in income, right? Like even if you pull up the income about Northern Virginia on any map, you'll see that the income is pretty consistent above $100,000 as far as the median household income until you get into the North Arlington and the McLean, Great Falls area, and then it kind of jumps into like $200,000 median household income. So the income in those northern areas are larger, which means household income is larger, which means that they just have access to more amenities. They have much larger houses in some of those neighborhoods, and so then you just have different concerns. You have different concerns. So while we would love to, I don't even know if we would love to move to the North Arlington area. Another reason why we don't live in North Arlington or even the McLean area is because we're interested in our kids having access to a little bit more of a diverse audience, diverse peers, diverse friends. So we do know that there is a positive correlation between diversity decreasing and home prices increasing. So while that does make it a little bit challenging for us as when it comes to the highly rated public schools. Highly rated public schools in the Northern Virginia area are going to have less diversity. So you have to make a decision. Is diversity this is our conversation, right? So we're thinking, how important is diversity compared to school rankings, since we don't really consider the schools in the higher rated areas to be that much better than the schools that we have access to now. We just choose on the side of a more diverse audience, right? So yeah, so I hope this video helps you to, understand the Northern Virginia market a little bit better, to understand what is available to you as far as housing is concerned. I know that at least on the calls that I've been on with some of our viewers, there is like this concern about moving too far away from the core of Northern Virginia, which I would say the core is going to be that Arlington area where the Pentagon is located, right? And then kind of moving out west. And just know that Northern Virginia, that's Arlington, Fairfax County, Falls Church, Loudoun County, Prince William County, these areas are not traditional cities. These areas are just large suburbs, planned communities galore. And I think you're gonna enjoy living here. I think you're gonna enjoy living here. We've been enjoying living here. We're looking forward to planting even more roots. We're hoping the kids decide to go to George Mason University and decide to grow their family, raise their family in this area. So we're very pleased with this location, and I think that you will be too, right? So even though you may not be able to afford to live in North Arlington or the McLean area or Great Falls or Tyson's Corner, there's still some great neighborhoods. There's some great communities in this area. You'll still have access to good to great schools. I think your kids, if you have kids, will have access to a great community. If you don't have kids, I think that you're gonna be very pleased with the conversation that you could have with some of the other professionals in the area, some of the other citizens in the area, and just having quick access to the DC proper stuff, right? Like just going to the museums, going to the world-class restaurants, going to the events. There's all kinds of shows that take place in the DC area as well. So that's it for me. I just wanted to jump on here, have this discussion. Um, I've heard a couple of my clients talk about this topic about their how do they manage getting a raise but not really being able to afford to live in the best neighborhood. Actually, before we leave, there was a client, somebody reached out like a year and a half ago. They were moving up here. They were planning on moving up here from Florida, right? So they're planning on moving up here from Florida, and they were only going to move up here on one income. I think it was the wife that actually got a raise, or she got the job offer. And so then they reached out to me to kind of do like an exploratory call to determine if it made sense to move to the Northern Virginia area. So I asked them a couple questions, predominantly around like what their current lifestyle is, right? So I believe that this family had like three children that were all school age kids. And so I asked them, I said, are your kids going to be, are they involved in a lot of sports? And they said, yes. I said, well, good. Northern Virginia has a lot of sports to offer, but a lot of the sports that we have are club sports, club and some county affiliated sports. But it is a possibility that you'll be trekking your kids around all throughout the region. So there's that, right? And then I asked them about the community that they lived in at the time. And I said, do you like your community, or do you feel like it's very welcoming? And they were like, yes. I said, well, one of the challenges with living in Northern Virginia is that it is a transit there's a lot of transit residents where they're in and out, right? They do 3 years with the military, or they're here 4 years for some political appointment, or they just moved up here for a career move. So there will be a percentage of the residents, a percentage of the people in the community, members of the community, that will just be in and out. And so that's going to be a little bit different if you're coming from a neighborhood or a community that's not built around the military, that's not built around the government, that you'll have to get accustomed to, right? Like my kids are grown, they've grown accustomed to having a kid in their class, and then next year the kid is gone because they relocated for military, or they relocated because they work for their parents work for the government. That's different. That's different. And then I asked them the most important question, which was how much more money will you actually be making when you move up here? And they said, oh, it's a good raise. And I said, okay, good. Well, so how much do you think it will be? And they told me that it was going to be like maybe between $15,000 and $25,000. And I told them, I'm an honest guy. I told them, I said, hey, look, man, I don't think that that's enough money to warrant moving up here, because our houses are so much more expensive. And I think in Florida, where they were living at, they lived in like a $400,000 property, single family home with like 4 bedrooms. And I was like, that extra $25,000 is not going to get you anywhere near what you're currently living in right now, right? So if this is a career move, right? If this is like a play to kind of move up a couple steps inside your organization, then I think that you have to make the best decision for your family. But things are expensive up here, right? Things are expensive up here, and there's cons to moving up here that you probably just want to consider to see if the income boost is worth the other hassles that go with other challenges that go with living up in Northern Virginia. So they decided not to move. They decided not to move. I wasn't trying to talk them out of moving up here. I just wanted to be honest with them, right? I want you to enjoy your stay up here. And if that there may be some things in your current hometown, or where you're currently located, that may be better. But things up here are expensive. The schools overall are better than, I would say, most of America. That's a biased opinion, of course. I have 2 kids in the school, so of course I wouldn't say anything too harsh about the school system. But I just think there's a lot to do here. There's a lot to do here. I think you're going to really enjoy it. So whether or not you move to the McLean area, the North Arlington area, or the Great Falls area, or you feel like you can't afford to live up those ways, moving 15-20 minutes out, I think you're still going to have a positive experience up here. I think you're going to enjoy your time up here. What do you think? What do you think? If I know I have a couple of locals that usually watch these videos. If you're a local watching the show, would you say that this is an accurate position, accurate statement? Um, Even though you're not able to maybe live in some of the more well-off areas, are you still having a good time up here? Or you still feel like the experience is, excuse me, is worth it? It justified? Um, yeah, yeah. We're enjoying ourselves. We're enjoying ourselves. Just yesterday, I'm going to put a video up on the channel. I went to I did a walking tour with Abraham II, my oldest son, through Old Town. So a historic architecture tour. It was quite lovely. We went to Chicago in July for 2 weeks, and we did a couple tours while we were there. And one thing I realized is that I haven't done a good job of treating the DC metro area like a tourist, so I can get the most out of this experience, right? Like when we were getting on the plane to go to Chicago, people were getting off the plane to come to DC and to visit this place. So that's another cool thing about living here, is that there's a lot to get into, a lot to do. Well, good. So it seems like we don't have any questions at this time, any observations. But if you do have an observation or a question, please post it down below in the comment section. Help the other viewers out. If you move to this area and you still like it, and you still love it, let us know. If you move to the area and you're not liking it so much, right? Let us know what it is you dislike about the area. We want to make sure that people move here with their eyes wide open, right? Eyes wide open. I'll tell you, we moved up here just for the school system. Public school. We wanted our kids to be in a great public school system so that they would have friends in the neighborhood from kindergarten to 12th grade. That's one of the things we wanted, because in New Orleans, I was bussed around to different magnet schools, and I didn't have the best community experience because I didn't really know that many kids in the neighborhood. We didn't want that for the boys. And so the boys, we call them the fellas are really enjoying their community life, their neighborhood life. Just a few minutes ago, they just came inside from the park. The park is like 3 blocks away from our house. They have like a gaggle of kids that they play with. So that was one of the things that we moved up here for, and that's what we are getting. All right, so we do have a comment. Let's see. Toya says, I agree. I just relocated to Virginia from New York and did not realize it was so expensive here. Yes, yes, yes. We have another client that we are working with from the New York area, and I was shocked to find out how on par their housing prices was, because in my mind I just thought that New York was just obscenely expensive, but no, it's not. It's like $600,000 to $800,000 properties, and yeah, it's hard. I will say, now that we've been here about 10 years, it is hard to wrap your head around that. Like living here, you normalize how expensive it is. So you don't really understand, or it's hard to understand when I even watch those like HGTV shows and people are house hunting in like the North Carolina or stuff like that, and they buy a large house for like $300,000 or $40,000. I'm just like blown away by that, because that you couldn't even get like a solid townhouse in some parts of Northern Virginia. So yeah, so it is challenging to adjust to this high cost of living area. But I will say, in defense of the high cost of living, you have access to a lot more amenities, or a lot more creature comforts, a lot more things that people travel to go see or go do, that's really right down the street from your house. Right. So Toya, thank you so much for that feedback. I hope you're enjoying your time in Northern Virginia now. You're about to go into the fall season. The fall season is going to be gorgeous. Oh my goodness, it's a gorgeous time of the year. Gorgeous. You got to make it out to the Shenandoah Mountains. All right. When the leaves fall, when the leaves turn, it's a gorgeous little driving trail. You don't have to get out your car if you don't want to. But I think it's like maybe $20 or so to go up on the trail. It's like 2 hours away from the Northern Virginia core. The trail probably will take you like an hour long drive just in these winding roads, and you have these gorgeous views. So yeah, so Toya, make sure you make it out that way. Excellent. Any other questions? Anything I can assist you with? I'll stay on for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, statements, comments, love to hear them. Love to field any of those questions. Also, if you are interested in starting the home buying process, this is a real estate channel. I'm a real estate agent. There's a link in the description to fill out your perfect home questionnaire. You click the link down below and you'll be laughing just like this couple here who purchased a home with us as well. On that on that perfect home questionnaire, I'll answer any questions that you have about the home buying process or home selling process. And we will make sure that you're well aware, well informed of what's going to happen with your move here or move away from here or transition around here. I have, just to kind of talk about some things that are coming up. We have a new video that we've been working on, or at least a conversation. The Mrs. and I, the Crystal and I will be doing probably tomorrow. Tune in about the registering your kids for Fairfax County schools. We have a lot of, like I said, we have a large percentage of our audience. A large percentage of our audience is relocating from somewhere else to this area, and a lot of people are selecting Fairfax County. So we want to make sure that that particular clientele understands just what they need to do to register their kids for school if they move here with school-aged kids. There were some things that happened to us and we live here and it was surprising. So we want to make sure that you are not surprised by the setup process, right? So tune in for that. That should be either tomorrow or the following day, right? Yeah. Any other questions about moving to the area? Let me know. Any observations, anything you're looking forward to? I'm looking for there's a couple comedy concerts I'm looking forward to coming up this fall. Should be cool. All right. We'll stay on for a couple more minutes. What do you think about this format, this little conversation format? Just kind of bring you a topic that I've been discussing with clients, with friends. Let me know how you like this. We could bring some more of these conversations with Abraham to you. And this will be in addition to our more scripted, research-based projects. Kind of sad. Our Saints, we're from New Orleans, so we're Saints fans. So the Saints lost today to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Referees weren't helping us, but also our quarterback wasn't helping us as well, since he threw 3 interceptions. Ouch. Also, if you're moving here from another place, you will need to get some type of football package if you want to watch the games. We use DirecTV Sunday Ticket, I think it's called, and that's how we're able to watch the Saints games. But if I'm not mistaken, DirecTV is going to be, they may lose their ability to host or stream the games, so we'll be looking for another service after that. All right, so it sounds like we don't have any other questions. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Abraham Walker with Ask A Walker, your Northern Virginia real estate agent. I appreciate your attention. I hope I answered your questions. At least I hope I helped you to start the process of moving to the area. Make it a little bit easier for you, right? We're trying to make your whole transition process easier. Answer some stuff that I think would help. And and also get you excited about moving here. We love to see our clients excited about moving to the area. This place has a lot to offer. It has a lot to offer. I think you're going to enjoy it. Hold on, we got one more question or one more statement. Toya says, I enjoy the programs you all share. Very informative. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Toya. We appreciate your feedback. And we also appreciate you watching the channel as well. So make sure you share the channel with anybody else. And until next time, peace.